myself who may not be aware of who I am. So, my name is Gay Fred Wade Bivens III. I'm a social service senior administrator for Division of Social Services. I operated out of the Community Partner Support Unit, managing the impact team and assist team. So, I know today's training meeting is to discuss some of the assist access that we offer to our community partners. In this presentation today, I'll go over what our M.O.U agreement is, the memorandum of understanding agreement that we have with our community partners in the division to gain access to the Assist portal as an authorized user. I also talk about some of the additional documentation that is needed in connection to that agreement for users to gain access. I'll talk about the benefits of having access and how that can benefit your clients as it relates to their need for Division of Social Service benefits. In that, I will also kind of show you guys in the portal what it looks like so you can get an idea and understanding of the different functions that the Assist portal comes with. So what I want to do first, Jessica, I'm able to share my screen. Are we able to see my screen?
Not yet. I did just make you the co-host.
Okay. All right, I got it.
All good. Thank you.
Okay. Just trying to. All right. So with Delaware Assist, Division of Social Services is a division in DHSS, Delaware Health and Social Services. One of the things that one of the services that we provide, which is our main focus, is getting clients access to Division of Social Service benefits. Most of you may be familiar with those benefits look like as it relates to SNAP, purchase of care, TANF, um, Medicaid, medical, long-term Medicaid, general assistance, and I'll kind of discuss what some of those benefits offer. So one of the things about the assist and the reason the assist portal was designed was not just for our community partners to have authorized access, to have hubs in the community for direct access. So that means individual organization that is an authorized user could assist clients with the initial starting of applying for the benefits versus them coming into the state service center. So throughout the state of Delaware, we have about 14 state service centers, maybe 2 satellite locations throughout the state, right? So, you know, if it's an inconvenience to our clients to make it into the building, them themselves can actually go into Assist, create an account, and apply for benefits, right? As an authorized user, uh, uh, a staff person in your organization could actually assist them with applying for benefits, as well as submit the verification documents and track and monitor the status of the case. It also has access where you can complete renewals, as long as there's no changes in the application process. They can go in and do a renewal, and their benefit will automatically kick over, right, for the next period. If there is changes, you're also able to go in the system and report changes to the change reporting center. Some of these functions help our clients access benefits on a more what we consider like a improved user experience, a greater level of compatibility. It provides what we call one-stop shop experience. There's also helpful reminders to reduce common application hiccups. This is all functions of a technology program that our security team, our IT team, and our help desk team have created to enhance the application process outside of your traditional paper application. So as you see on the screen here, you have assist.dhss.delaware.gov. If you go to that website, interface will pull up as in that picture, which will be reviewed with you guys today to show you live. But with this interface, it gives you access again for workers to process applications via Assist. So we have a Assist team that we work with our community partners to gain access, and then we also have an Assist team that receives these applications, and what they do is they assign it to their local state service center or the available state service center that can process that document in the allocated time frame we have. Okay. Also, I have at the end questions as it relates to this presentation. The next slide gives you a little more information on what assist, right? I'm using the phrase assist. What does that stand for? Applications for social services and internet screening tool, right? So one of the things that assist offers is an eligibility screening tool, right? So versus doing an application, you could actually work with the client to even see if they're eligible first before applying. Rule of thumb on our end is always to encourage clients to apply, right? Because things change, right? The screening tool is limited. It gives like a general idea of if they are eligible, and most of the time it relates to their income. But for most facts, we say even with that, we do when we're doing benefits, we do take in consideration of expenses. And there's some expenses that can be deducted from their income that could decrease that amount, but that only could really be done by a processing worker. So we encourage all of our clients, not to just check eligibility, but also to apply. Um, the idea with Assist is to access the internet, right? Of course, if you're going to do Assist application is via internet, you must have internet access, Wi-Fi, those sorts of things to be able to complete an application. Um, when it comes to the screening of eligibility, it may take about 15 to 20 minutes to complete. For an actual application, the standard time frame is about 45 minutes to complete. So, when we are working with our clients, we kind of let them know that in the beginning because sometimes they have restraints on, how long they can spend on an application. The great thing about the SIS portal, though, is you can save an application, right? So let's say a client comes in your office and they're applying for a SNAP, which is AKA food benefits. But halfway through, they get a call and they have to leave. It's an emergency. You can save the application of where you left off and return to that application. You're able to return to that application within 65 days. So, if it exceeds that number, then unfortunately it will be removed out of the system. Okay. But we encourage, especially our community partners to stay in contact with their clients when they're doing applications, if not finished, so they can come back in a reasonable time frame and complete the application. When it comes to a lot of our clients sometimes ask about how secure and confidential is the system. So when it comes to the confidentiality of the system, not just the organization, but the user sign agreements, right? So we want them to make sure that they're in compliance with federal and state law, protecting our clients' information. The only workers on the back side of the program will be able to see the information outside of the initial worker who's doing the initial start of the application. Okay. Um, Basically, for 180 days after you submit a assist application, a user or your user ID and password, you can come into the system, return to finish application as stated before. You can check the status as stated before, and that's all through the home page. Okay, so as an authorized user, that is some of the benefits of having access to kind of monitor the status of what's going on with that application you assisted the client with. And it kind of keeping them abreast because sometimes it's challenging for them. They may call the office, no one answers, right? Or they may come in the office and there's a line and they can't wait, right? If they did an assist application with you, you can use a W number or E application number. Sometimes we call it a R number for renewals to type into the system and check the status of a client's case. So this goes back to when our users are give when our users are give authorized access as a community partner, they have particular login credentials that are they're able to access the system. And again, it's to apply for DSS benefits, which I'll go over, which is the SNAP benefit, that is the food benefit program. You have the TANF, the temporary assistance for needy families. That's the cash assistant program for our families. We have the general assistant program. That's $79 a month, and that's only for those who have no income at all or are disabled. You also have child care services. That is purchase of care for those who need to get their children in daycare and that service be paid for through the state. We also have CHIP, which some folks are familiar with, Delaware Healthy Children Program through the school. We have our medical assistant programs, and that is Medicaid. There's different forms of Medicaid depending on the client's status, and they're able to choose, who their managed care provider is. We also have long-term Medicaid, and we also work with Social Security Administration's office for Medicare. So those are some of the things that you would be able to go into the system, support a client, and obtaining information to complete an application. One of the big things we look at is when our users are assisting clients to apply, that they're following the non-discrimination statement. And for the most part, we're all familiar with civil rights codes and regulations where, if a client is, of a different ethnicity or race or gender or disability or age, you cannot discriminate. This even goes into detail about political belief, which is something you don't necessarily hear a lot of times. But you do not want to discriminate against a client in the sense of not assisting them to apply due to one of those protected identifiers for discrimination. So before I jump into the next section, which will be our MOU, does anyone have any questions about the assist as it relates to this presentation? You can ask freely. If not, I can jump into the next portion.
I'm not seeing any questions in the chat at this time.
Okay. So are we able to see my screen now?
No, we can still see
Still the slide? Okay.
yeah.
Give me a second here. Are we able to see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. So this is what I spoke about earlier, the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding. And this is between the Delaware Department of Health and Social Services, Division of Social Services, and our community partners. So I'm not going to go through this word by word, but I will kind of outline some of the requirements for this document. So it's for when we send it to our community partners, we ask them to review the document and understand the document itself. If they have questions about the verbiage in the document, we can kind of explain to clarify any concerns. But the agreement itself is kind of to outline what the use of the system is for, the community partner itself. So you see the community partner is highlighted. That will be changed with your organization's name, right? And that's to assist with our mission to grant easy access to the Division of Social Service benefits throughout the state. So this document itself is about a 10-page document. It talks about the parties involved. It also talks, excuse me, it also talks about the purpose, what the purpose of the agreement is, right? And that's to for our parties to understand we're giving your organizations access to apply on behalf of applicants as it relates to assist applications. And also monitor that status through the assist dashboard as mentioned before. And that's like the tracking function, that's the save application function, that is the renewal function, that is the change management function. They ask for you to understand that is the overall purpose of assist. Kind of goes into the introduction, talks about federal and state laws, what they allow when it comes to disclosing information and concerns. One of the things that we say is in this agreement is we let our users know that when it comes to divulging information about the application itself, it should only go to the head of the household that has applied on that application. If they're not the head of the household, they should not be granted access to information about that application process you're assisting them with. Okay. If there's sometimes we have it where the client gives authorization, but the client is physically there or physically on the phone, and you can identify who that is. It talks about the responsibilities of the department as we will provide a representative to work with your organization in ensuring that your access is working properly. If you need to enable an account, disable an account, terminate an account. If you have new staff and we need to create user accounts, you would have a contact person through the division, which is through my team, to ensure that access is being granted in a reasonably time period. From there, it kind of talks about the responsibilities of the community partner, what that looks like. Most of the responsibilities is, again, not to discriminate, to make sure that the information is being confidential, making sure the agents, employees, anyone that's designated to use this system understands their responsibilities. And failure to do so can result to penalties. Okay. From there, it outlines different about 11 different subjects of that. Again, confidentiality is a big one. Some of the stuff is kind of repetitive, but they talk about the department side, the state side, and the federal side as it relates to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. We also have general provisions. It talks about any breach of agreement may prevent the department to disclose to not disclose any information, right, or access if there is a breach. Talks about some of the outlines of that, the purpose. Then it kind of jumps down to our contact persons. For us to authorize your access, it has to be approved by our deputy director, Mercedes Spady. She has to sign off on this agreement, and so does DMMA as well. Then we jump down here, and this is a primary contact person. So we want a primary contact person for your organization. The primary and secondary contact person does not have to have access, but they are the ones who are confirming the agreement between both parties, between the division and your organization. And it's for us to be able to contact either the primary or the secondary as it relates to your organization's access. Every organization gets what we call an IAS account, which is just an account in our system our security team develops to put you into the system to use the Assist portal. And then any of your users will go under that account. From there, there's a page where we ask for signatures, signatures of the community partner, signatures on our side of DSS, and then DMMA will also sign as well. It talks about the criterias of a community partner, what a community partner can be, what a community partner cannot be. For the most part, all of our community partners serve the community in some aspect. And for the most, it relates to medical or health care providers. Some are related to organizations of religious or civil groups, and assisting their residents in their community to apply for social service benefits. Um, One of the things that a community partner cannot be is an organization, sole purpose, primary business to collect debts. Um, Cannot be a community partner. Currently subject to either suspension or debarment. Could not be a community partner by the federal government. Any organization who does not include helping Delaware residents to apply for social services. So that means, if you're a community hub area, if you have a client come in that you're servicing and they want to apply for DSS benefits, for whatever reason they were made aware of, you provide that service, you cannot turn that individual away. You would want to assist them or schedule an appointment, or try to direct them to the state service center if the capacities of you being able to operate in that moment is restricted. Some of our organizations that are community partners, they actually have like a assigned worker who one of their primary responsibilities is to help clients apply for benefits. So sometimes that's easier for other organizations where they have allocated time to do this type of work. It talks about what community partners must be. Again, serve Delaware residents, be able to comply with applicable federal and state laws and regulations as it relates to their role as a community partner, including confidentiality and non-discrimination requirements. Have personnel available to access assist community partner dashboard in order to work with Delaware residents for applying for benefits. So those are the things that we want. Then it kind of jumps into a confidentiality agreement, talks about your password, your login, your credentials. You do not want anyone to use the same credentials as you. You will be provided a username based off your email that you provide, and then you will be able to create a password. Okay. You do not want to share your username or your password with any colleagues, as if they need access, they can get their own account. And you must understand that you must secure that information, so it does not get obtained from those who should not have access. And that kind of breaks it down, of what that looks like. At the end here, we would have ask for signatures, and then the user signature is usually the primary contact person just signing, saying that they agree, for us to move forward with getting an organization an account. With these MOU agreements, when we talk about our users, so that's for the organization's agreement, right? But we also have agreements for the actual users. So that means folks that you're assigning to use the system. Um, One of those agreements is our DTI agreement, and that's the Department of Technology and Information through the state of Delaware. And this agreement is pretty long, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip down to the most important section. Okay, so this is the section where the user will put their name, date, signature, their organization's name, date, and then their direct supervisor's signature is required. Okay. And it talks about the non-state of Delaware employees, meaning all other users, which is community partners. making sure that they understand the requirements of protecting the sensitive information that they're handling and not abusing the system inappropriately. You also have contacts where if you think your system is breached, you would want to notify your contact person immediately. And we would work with our internal teams to remedy the situation. Um, if activities of if criminal activities are expected, the proper authorities and guidance will determine appropriate action made. Okay, so as an individual in the organization, they will be required to sign off on our DTI form. Here is our NDA, our DHSS NDA, or non-disclosure agreement. This is an agreement with the actual department of DHSS, and it relates to our information resource management. I won't go through every bullet point, but it's similar to what the MOU agreement kind of outlines, but it outlines it for the individual. So it's just making sure that you understand um, what access you're being granted and how to protect your access, while also making sure that we're staying in compliance with state and federal laws pertaining to policies and procedures and any professional ethical standards that would, affect that user as they gain access. At any time, we can request an audit to see, how that user is applying for benefits in the system and if they are doing it correctly, meaning that they're not making up information, and they're actually helping individuals apply. But it talks about what those penalties could be, fines not exceeding 5,000 or 5 years in imprisonment, plus any cost of prosecution. So these sensitive information is really one of the things that our organization wants to make sure that folks understand not to abuse their access, because otherwise they will penalties will come. So you would have the user sign, and then the user supervisor will sign basically as a witness. And usually with that user, when it says supervisor and date, that is the person who is signing that is the person on our end who is the assigned supervisor for that organization. Just saying that they signed it, we confirmed they signed it, and we signed it as well. So those are the two supporting documentations that will be used as it relates to an organization's MOU agreement being approved and individual users needing access for us to create accounts. Lastly, I will go through a quick run through of the actual portal itself so you can get an idea what it looks like. If you could bear with me for a moment. Share my screen. Okay, we should be able to see my screen now. Just want to make sure, are we able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Jessica?
Yep.
Okay. So this is the website, right? This is the assist.dhss.delaware.gov website. This is a website where, again, clients could go on to the website themselves, create an account, and apply for benefits, right? But as a community partner, again, you would have more access to the system and you would go in as an authorized user, right? Um, when you scroll down, you have the access to, for an individual to apply, You have access for an individual to click in and see if they qualify. Okay. Um, and then you also have returning users access, which is finished application, check application status, my assist account. That's just account information to view notices, report changing, if there's changes made, and complete renewals. And then again, these are the benefits that Assist offers to help our clients apply. One of the benefits that I do want to mention is LIHEAP. LIHEAP's a big one. In the portal, we used to have access to actually go into LIHEAP and apply, but now we direct folks when you get into the portal to use the LIHEAP link that takes us to Catholic Charities website, and that client will actually have to print out a paper application and mail it to their county office. So if they're in Newcastle County, they would mail it to the Newcastle County office for it to be processed. Before we used to have it where it was connected, but that system has changed based off the vendor. Talks about SNAP, stolen benefit replacements, Delaware EBT. We have contact information as well for those who want to learn more information about the WIC program. But if I scroll back up to the top, as an authorized user, we would go in as a community partner login. You would hit continue. And then you would type in your credentials. So I'm going to type in my credentials. Just bear with me for a moment. All right. So we'll bring you into the portal. Here's the portal. So it talks about one of the things that a lot of our organizations like to have, and in reference to one of our community partners is Department of Corrections. So we have Department of Corrections who has access to our system. Again, government can also have access, state as well. So one of the things they want to do is they want to know how many applications are being submitted by their organization. What are who are the users that are under their organization, who are submitting. They could track all of that data and report out internally to their organization about it. Okay. As you see here, you have the access to do a new application. You have access to do renewal application. You're able to search applications using that tracker number that is provided with each application. And you can also screen for benefits. It's also a way to contact our assist processing team if you have questions or concerns. It talks about, saved applications, submitted applications, right? It kind of goes over with my access. It shows my organization, but it'll tell me the workers. It'll tell me who did the application. What is that W number, which we call the e-application number to be able to track it. You can go into the application, see notes. I won't click on any of these myself because it's pertaining to real life clients. But I will come here up top and I will show you the reporting side. So with the quick reports, it will go by the month submitted for November 2024. And it will talk about the totals. So it'll talk about your organization based off the county. Was it Kent? Was it Newcastle? Was it Sussex? It'll talk about, the types of benefits that were applied for, how many, right? It looks like, during that month, with my team alone, we did about 11 food benefit applications, which is pretty good. And then it will give you kind of the total for your organization. This is some of the numbers and metrics you can use as an authorized user. If you need information about the benefits, right? You don't really understand the benefits. You can click these links and you can get information pertaining to the benefits. You can download forms, and there's also other helpful links that can be utilized. Well, if we go back to the dashboard, that is the main use of the system. And the main use, again, is to use these functions. When you're searching an application, you're tracking the status. Again, I wish I could show you guys how it would look, but it's pertaining to real life clients. And then from there, again, you can contact them, questions, help, sitemap, right? These are some of the different functions, returning users, learn more about Assist, right? Everything you need to be able to assist a client with getting access to divisional social service benefits. So I'm gonna stop sharing my screen at this time, and I'll open it up for any questions pertaining to anything that I went over as it relates to an authorized user with Division of Social Services. And if we don't have any questions, you can always, Jessica always can share my information, and you can definitely contact me for additional information if we need to do a one-on-one. Typically, organizations who want to gain access, I have a meeting with them and kind of review the same information as we did today. Once an organization has actually gained access, we have staff provide training, whether it could be virtual or in person, on how to use those different functions that we reviewed on the portal site.
I think you just answered Carolyn Kelly's question in the chat. If not, Carolyn, I'm going to be, after this is all set, I'll be emailing out all the documents that Gateford had posted today. So you're more than welcome to, I believe, complete the MOU ahead of time and
Yeah.
send over to Gateford.
Yep. Yep. And if you complete the documents, the MOU agreement, that's the first one we need. If that's completed, you can reach out to me. I'll work on getting it processed, and then we'll keep you up to date on what that time frame takes. Typically, being realistic, it can take about 2 weeks for everyone, all the parties to sign off, and then our security team give access. But our turnaround, once you get access, our turnaround for user accounts are like same day. So definitely, you can reach out to me as it relates to access.
And after that, for next steps, you guys also provide on-site TA or training for the staff that would actually be using the portal?
Yeah, yeah. So we have what we call our master family service specialists. They are assigned, they're able to do like supervisory duties. And one of the things that they do is, as it relates to assist, is that they work with an organization, and they are assigned to an organization. And that'll be your primary contact person. So they'll help them gain individual access for users, right? Check the status, if the user has to get transferred to another worker, all of those sorts of things. And then once the worker is confirmed to have access, and that's one of the tricky parts, right? Is making sure that they have the link to reset their password to get in. They then will have access to work with one of those master family service specialists to review the functions in the system. So actually going through it step by step. Training will be provided. Usually it's easier virtually, especially when it's a big group. But we've been requested to come in person as long as we can have the equipment there, like uh, a monitor or something to kind of go off to show everyone. But yes, we will definitely provide additional training on how to use the system as they get their credentials. Any more questions?
Seeing any hands up or any further questions in the chat at this time?
Well, I want to thank you all for allowing me to present and kind of express what the good work we're doing on our side and how we want to involve community organizations to help with our mission to get our clients access to benefits.
Thank you so much, Gateford, for presenting on that today. Really, really appreciate that. I'm going to stop the recording now.